Fellas, if you're an independent masculine man, you may not understand what women mean when they say, yeah, but men do it as well. You won't understand it because you live in a different type of world. The men that the women are talking about are dependent, codependent men. There are loads of men in today's society who are like women, as in these men have not embarked on the journey to independence. These men have no higher calling like a woman. These men are pleasure driven like a woman. These men have no behaviors or disciplines like a woman, and these men aren't courageous or brave like women. So what women do is the women intentionally conflate the high value men with the low value men and lump them all into the same group, which is not true. Just in the same way there are beautiful women and unattractive women, there are independent men and dependent men. Okay, so when women are saying that, yeah, but the men are doing it too, they are talking about codependent, dependent men. They are not talking about you. All right, because so it is about gender, of course, but it's mostly about whether you're dependent or not, whether you are a conformist or not, whether you are attached to the herd or not, or whether you have others think for you or if you think for yourself. Women of high value, beautiful women typically are able to attract independent men, independent masculine men. These are the men that they will seek the validation. They will seek these men's validation because there's no other way. Okay, the power imbalance is clear and obvious when a woman is dealing, and in the same way there are there's not independent women. There's pseudo-independent women. I say pseudo-independent because it can seem like these women are independent, but they're not. They're still reliant on the family. They're still reliant on the police. They're still reliant on the medical institutions. They're still reliant on law, politics. They are reliant on men. It's just that they don't understand that the men have been systemized. They don't understand that society is provided and protected for by men. So even though it's not your boyfriend, it's still the duty of men as a whole who are able to facilitate the lives of women, right? Even if it comes from the men who created the pill and the men, just all of these institutions and stuff. The reason why women are safe is because the men ensure it, right? So you need to understand that the women are talking about other codependent, dependent men, right? And it's a sign. So if you're dealing with women who have such a low view of men, it's because they've only been able to attract dependent, codependent men. It's a sign of their value and worth. I am not trying to be mean when I'm saying that. And also, you have to take into consideration that there isn't enough high-value, masculine, independent men to go around. There just simply isn't. So this means the majority of women are destined to not settle down with these men. Nature knows this, and there's plans and courses of actions for this, okay? So it's cause and effect, okay? So if a woman is born in an area where there simply isn't any independent, high-value men, then she still will be low value because she hasn't experienced the high value men, and as a high value independent man. And as I said in my previous video, the high value or independent man is literally responsible for the second half of the woman's personal education. She must overcome that man, learn how to win over that man, learn how to impress that man, learn how to gain the validation and approval of that man, learn how to keep that man, maintain that man, learn how to fulfill the needs of that man. These things are very, very hard to do. Okay, and the women who are able to do it, these women are super women. These women are on a completely different level to all of the other women. Okay, just in the same way, the men who are able to become millionaires, the men who started from the bottom and actually conquered the world, overcome the inequalities and the injustices of the world. Even though all of the odds were stacked up against him, he still managed to make a success of himself. These men are mice amongst men. Men amongst mice, right? And it's the same thing for women. So just bear in mind when you hear women if you hear women who are serial daters, 50, 70, 100 dates, women kind of having such a low view of men, it actually reflects and exposes their own low value. It exposes the type of men they are able to attract, right? And nobody wants codependent or dependent partners, guys. Nobody wants codependent or dependent partners. Okay, just in the same way, nobody wants anxiously attached partners. Okay, nobody wants them. Nobody wants lust-driven, infatuation-driven partners. Okay, the women don't want them in men, and this is the reason why women don't like men who exhibit any similarities to them. Women do not like men who have the same behaviors, disciplines, mindsets, actions, and reactions to women. Okay, right? They only like the independent men. But for you as a man, you should not look for independent women. Number one, they don't exist, man. I mean, if they do, you're talking about neurodivergent anomalies, and you won't want them. You wouldn't want an already independent woman. Okay, you want a woman who still cries when she sees something on TV. You know, you want a woman who gets broody around children. You want a woman who's sensitive and nurturing and loving. A woman who's still innocent. A woman who's still youthful, right? Because that speaks to you as a man. Because as a man, on your masculine burden, on your journey to independence, you had to give up all those things, guys. This is the reason why we are so attracted to it in women. We didn't want to give up our youth. We didn't want to give up our enthusiasm. We didn't want to become serious. We didn't want to become harsh, aggressive, right? We wanted to be happy and youthful, and we wanted to be kids, and we wanted to have a certain type of life. And then we were shown very painfully that this isn't for us. We're not allowed to go down this path, right? Only the women can go down this path. We have to go down a completely different type of path. And most of us didn't want to give up these aspects of ourselves. We didn't want to give up our innocence, our purity. We didn't want to give it up, you know, but we had to. So as adults, and it's a part of the masculine burden, as adults, we are really attracted to women who've preserved these qualities. That's why a massive aspect of the feminine is preservation. It's not just preservation of the skin or the body or their hair. It's preservation of characteristics and behaviors, okay, that us men have to forego in order. It's just our burden, all right? And it's the feminine burden to actually keep these things. You know, so it works as a dichotomy. So that's why we are so attracted. That is why the strong masculine man is so attracted to the innocent, harmless woman, right? That's why that man feels that desire to sacrifice himself. That man will kill him. That man will take a bullet for that woman because he finds it so special. He wants to protect it, right? Just in the same way that he wished he had somebody there to protect his youth, to protect who he was, his spirit and his soul. He wished he had somebody there to protect him for that, but he didn't. So as a man, it is just a natural psychological process for him to see that in women and to see that in children and to be willing to risk his life and to sacrifice his life in the preservation of that. You know, that's how he wants to give back. It's a little projection. Our love for each other are projections. Just in the same way that the woman is attracted to the strong, independent, masculine man because she knows she will never be these things. She will never be these things, but she wants it in her life, if not to just live through the man vicariously. Poetry, guys. Poetry. No? Poetry. Guys, support the channel, please. You can buy me a coffee. Sign up for the one-on-one coaching.